Y'all, we're going to have to talk about this extremely tragic situation where an entire family in Florida lost their lives due to the fact that Washington State and California are giving CDL licenses to illegal migrants. And also we're going to be looking at this man's face in this video and stopping for a second to try and figure out like what exactly is going through his mind. Why does he not have a reaction when he is dragging a car full of people across the highway?
Welcome back here on Live Now from Fox, 11:44 on the.
Look at this. I'm sorry to stop it so soon, but we need to look at this, and it goes by really fast. He looks back. So he just made a U-turn in an 18-wheeler semi-truck, which you're not supposed to do anyway. And there's no way that he would be able to clear the median. And if there was a sign there, he would have definitely knocked it over. And we'll get into like other details about this and after this video. I looked up a few things and it's really disturbing. So he's looking back and he sees that he is like literally destroying this vehicle, and watch his face when he turns back around and notice that there is literally no reaction. And I'm sure all of us have been in an accident at some point, and all of us have some type of a reaction. And at first, when I if y'all know me, if you've been around for a while, if y'all know me, when I saw that head covering, I was automatically thinking, well, that's why he doesn't have a reaction, because he doesn't mind unaliving American citizens. However, that head covering is actually not a Muslim head covering. It is a Sikh head covering, which is a religion. It's an Indian religion. And I'll give a brief rundown of that later, just to like make sure that we understand like this is not what you can imagine my original thought was. Okay?
East Coast, 8:44 on the West Coast. My name is Josh Breslow.
No
And I'm
reaction.
here to bring you all of your top stories and
And then
live
we're
events
gonna
from
see him
across the
again.
country and across the world.
Look,
we do have new details after an undocumented migrant truck driver.
He literally like looks like he doesn't even care. Wouldn't you be distraught? And at that point, he knew that two of these people were already dead. And he's just standing there looking around like, oh, did I just unalive two people? Oh, does one of them have to go to the hospital in critical condition? Oh, did I just break several laws, including involuntary manslaughter? Like, oh, no big deal. No, not a problem. No big deal.
Was charged with causing a crash that killed 3 people in Florida. The suspect was arrested over the weekend on 3 counts of vehicular homicide. And as I said, there is a lot of information coming out here. Jonathan Seri with Fox News joining us now live to discuss much more about all of this and that new information. Jonathan, thank you so much for taking the time to join us. Obviously, a lot of eyes on this story.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's becoming a political hot potato between red and blue states. Always good to be with you, Josh. That trucker you were talking about is 28-year-old Harjinder Singh, an Indian national who crossed over to the U.S. through the Mexican border illegally. He was arrested 2 days later. This was back in 2018, but then was released to allow him to go through the courts because he was claiming that he was living in fear of returning back to his country of origin. He is expected to be returned to Florida later this week to face prosecution for state charges of vehicular homicide. Singh, who's being held without bail in San Joaquin County, California, appeared in court with an interpreter yesterday. He agreed to sign paperwork for his extradition, and Florida authorities must pick him up by August 26th. 1997. Singh was driving on Florida's Turnpike last week when authorities say he attempted an illegal U-turn, blocking oncoming traffic. A minivan slammed into the trailer, killing 3 Florida residents inside. Following the wreck, investigators with the U.S. Department of Transportation gave Singh an English language proficiency test. According to a DOT press release, the driver failed the assessment, providing correct responses to just 2 of 12 verbal questions and only accurately identifying 1 of 4 highway traffic signs. Because Singh, who entered the U.S. from Mexico in 2018, is an asylum seeker from India, the DOT says Washington state violated federal guidelines by issuing him a full-term commercial driver's license in 2023. And they say New Mexico State Police appear to have failed to assess his English skills during a roadside inspection earlier this year. Additionally, the DOT says it's investigating whether California acted within federal guidelines when it issued Singh a limited-term CDL in 2024.
You have people that are in Congress that are complaining about what happened, and while I appreciate the sympathy, it's like you guys have the power of the purse. You can discipline these states that don't follow the law and incentivize law breaking.
And Singh was driving for California-based White Hawk Carriers Incorporated. DOT officials say that that company is part of their investigation, Josh.
And Jonathan, what do we know about the status of the trucking company altogether?
Yeah, well, we looked at DOT records. According to DOT records over the past 24 months, there are no previous records of this company being involved in any crashes. That being said, DOT records also show that the company's insurance has been revoked. So currently, it is not authorized to operate there in the state of California, Josh.
All right, Jonathan Seri, as I mentioned, a lot of eyes on that story, so we'll keep in touch as we gather the latest. Thank you again for...
Y'all, these states are literally putting people in danger all across the country. This is crazy. So he illegally entered the country via Mexico in 2018. He was near deportation then, but then released on bond in early 2019 and later obtained a work authorization in 2021. So he first got a CDL illegally in Washington state in 2023, though the state's guidelines, it says, though the state's guidelines typically disallow asylum seekers or those without legal status from receiving full CDLs, and he was issued a full CDL. California, y'all, I used to want to go to California so bad, and I will probably go at some point. I will never, ever live there. Like, California is, I don't even know what to say. I don't even know what to say, but let's just look at this. California granted him a limited term non-domicile CDL in 2024 under a policy, Assembly Bill 60, which I'll get to in a second, that allows undocumented individuals to receive driver's licenses after proving legal presence via federal systems. And he was claiming asylum and stating that he was under threat of danger if he returned to India, which I don't know. Returning to India isn't really like returning to the Middle East. Like he's also a Sikh, which is one of the main religions there. So I highly doubt that he was under political or religious persecution. So I'm wondering if he has a criminal background in India and that's why he's afraid to return. Just a hypothesis, because returning to India doesn't, like, even people that come here from India, they go back home for weddings and like they go back home all the time. So it's like, you're not fleeing a dangerous area. Yeah, there are areas that are dangerous. Yes, there are slums throughout India, but there's also other really nice areas. And it's not like the whole country is under threat or like they're all in massive turmoil constantly. So I think that he has a criminal history in India, personally, allegedly. So it allows undocumented individuals to receive driver's licenses after proving legal presence via federal systems. Okay, whatever. California officials maintain Singh was granted his license legally after being vetted through the federal SAVE system and having his legal presence confirmed. So I wanted to find out a little bit more. I wanted to also, like, this might not be important to you guys, but if you've been around for a long time, you probably know why I looked into this. But this was his headdress right here, and this is a Sikh headdress. That's his religion. So I wanted just to point out real quick that it is actually a very peaceful religion, and they believe in equality for all, honest living, service to others, and devotion to God through prayer and remembrance. And they only believe in one God. So I just looked at that. If you've been around for a while, you know why I looked at that. And it was regarding the fact that he had no emotions whatsoever regarding unaliving 3 people, and is showing no remorse or compassion at all. But that doesn't match up with his religious beliefs. So I don't know what's going on. I don't know if he just doesn't care about unaliving people or what, but he's going to hell. He might be going to hell, y'all. So this Assembly Bill 60 was signed into law by Governor Jerry Brown on October 3rd, 2013. So this has been in law in California for a long time, and officially went into effect on January 2nd, 2015. Its purpose was to allow undocumented individuals who cannot prove legal presence in the United States to obtain a California driver's license, provided they meet identity and residency requirements. Now, he was able to prove that he was legally in the United States because he claimed asylum and he was granted a work visa, it sounds like. So he had paperwork to prove that he was here on asylum, which technically, I guess, means that he's legally here. But I mean, he was given deportation orders and then released and then given this stuff in 2021. So it was like he was laying low for a couple of years until Joe Biden got into office. And then we know what happened then. It was a free for all for all illegal immigrants. But, you know, citizens, veterans, homeless people, people that are sick on the streets, people that are addicted to drugs on the streets and need medical attention. Fuck all of them. Fuck all of them. Let's just give $152 billion federal tax dollars to people that have never paid taxes here ever, and let's give them free housing, and let's give them driver's licenses. Let's give them enough money to buy cars to drive illegally on our streets all over the country and run people over and run other things over as well. We know what happened in Springfield, Ohio. It's still happening right now. Let's just give them free food. Let's give them food stamps. Let's give them free medical care. But fuck every American citizen that has fought for our country and is now living on the streets with heavy mental issues, I forgot the word, PTSD, drug problems. Like, let's just fuck all those people. You know, let's give everything to the illegals. That's fine. So, any California resident age 16 and older who cannot provide proof of legal presence but can furnish valid proof of identity and proof of California residency and pass the required vision, written knowledge, and behind the wheel driving test, which he did not, obviously. The AB60 license is not a real ID and cannot be used for federal purposes such as flying, entering secure federal facilities, or for federal identification. Okay. Now, what I'm about to show you is going to blow your mind. Documents provided during the application for identity and residency are not public records and are not disclosable unless required by law. So they don't even have to keep these documents on file, from the sounds of it, from what I'm understanding. AB60 was motivated in part by the safety concern that many California residents were driving without a license or insurance, which I understand the ideology behind that is let's teach them to drive. Let's put them through driver's ed. Let's teach them what the road signs mean and things like that. But clearly that's not happening. Making licensing more accessible, aimed to increase the number of drivers who are licensed, tested, and insured, thereby improving road safety. So that could be understandable, I guess. However, we have situations like this where you're just giving them licenses and you're actually not testing whether they actually speak English, understand English, know what any of the street signs mean, or anything. So that's clearly not happening, and they're clearly putting people in danger all over the country. This is what is shocking. In its first year in 2015, the DMV issued approximately 605,000 AB60 driver's licenses in 1 year. And by April 2018, had surpassed 1 million licenses issued under this program. Y'all, these sanctuary states need to be reeled in real quick. That's why Texas needs to win this redistricting fight, and hopefully their Supreme Court does not overrule it. And maybe some more Republican states need to get involved, because we need control of Congress so that Congress can make laws against sanctuary cities and sanctuary states, because they are putting the entire country at risk. It's terrible. And I feel horrible that these people had to have their lives taken away because Washington State and California and New Mexico all dropped the ball and shit the bed on this and allowed this man to have a CDL driving all over the country and making illegal U-turns with his giant ass truck, and then showing absolutely no remorse for anything whatsoever. He is being charged with I think 3 counts of vehicular manslaughter. I believe those are the charges. I'm not 100% sure what the charges are, but you get the point. So what do you guys think about all this? This absolutely blows my mind. What do you think about this? Leave a comment in the comments below. Press the like button. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss any more content, and I'll see you on the next one.